So do you think we're seeing enough progress in women taking leadership roles in the industry? And are you seeing challenges that you faced when you started in the industry today? Do you think they still exist?
That question is has a lot of layers, but I'll start with the first part. I think that we definitely have progressed. Is it enough? I don't know. I think there's a lot more that can be done, especially for younger women who aspire to be in the music industry and in the entertainment industry. More support is needed, more guidance is needed, more platforms are needed for them to grow. Because sometimes some of them don't have examples. They probably work in a place where there's no woman. But we've come a long way. I can speak for where I work. There's a lot of women in leadership. Finance is a woman, A&R is a woman, operations is a woman, legal is a woman. So yeah, I think what is missing still, even at that level, is recognition. I think that is frustrating when, as a woman, you've gotten into certain heights. Even at that point, I think we're just talking about it earlier, is you're still feeling like either you're not recognized enough, you're not giving your flowers enough, or you always have to fight for your credits. And it's not a good feeling to have. So if we're having it at this level, I can only imagine younger people, younger women who can't speak up, don't have the platforms that we're on, right? So I think definitely that needs to get better.
Yeah, kind of have a follow-up question, but I'll come to you, Sasha. And what actionable steps do you think can be taken to accelerate this change and actually make women feel like you're doing? What do you have like to see?
Fast forward 1,000 years, maybe?
I don't know. I think that we're all, and allow me to speak for us all, I think that we're all doing what we can individually, and little drops make an ocean. But I think it's also really just being more intentional. Like I said, where now the female conversations are happening, and then it's about every decision you make, every room you're in, every table you're in. For myself, curating for clients that have like festivals or concerts or anything, I had my female quota. I'm always like, there are too many men. I'm going to break it up. If you have this amount of men, we have to have this amount of women. And we do that intentionally, and everybody has come out. So I feel like, each one drop a little in the ocean, and we'll get there eventually someday.
IB, hi.
So my next question, so there's a general notion that it's harder to break in female artists into the industry than male artists. What do you think about that?
You want the pet press?
No, so I agree. I think just thinking back to my own experience, I feel initially a lot of it was the availability of projects. Because, breaking a female artist requires more. Yeah, in terms of just think about it from the most basic thing. Like make on a guy. And it cannot look the same with every time, all the time, right? I feel like maybe with the male counterparts, they could get away with things like wear the same jeans, could wear like student at the shirts, just have highlight photos. You know what I mean? But so I think there's a budget conversation, but with more investment, I think we had more capital. But the truth is, how many kids you have access to that capital? And then there are other things. I think we have the cultural dimensions from the perspective of think about the lifespan. In generally, you think about entertainment across all types of entertainment. There's usually like a period, your peak period, right?
Yeah.
And the younger you are, the better, right? So if you think about it from that perspective, and you consider that along the same lines of cultural expectations of women, you realize that there are a lot of things that we have to consider as well. Or how young are you starting? Is she going to get pregnant? Is she going to get an
The boy getting to the store, but
exactly, man, it's that. So those are also some considerations, I think, that affect even entry for women. Now we see a lot more women that are sort of taking the lead and saying, okay, we want to be in this industry. Or then when they do get into the industry, what are the things that we also have to think about when we're managing that? Ringer talked about earlier the team, right? What is the team dynamic? Do we have enough women that we can actually say, okay, we want to create a female team, for example. Do we have enough skilled people that understand the industry, that are women, that can fit it right in that space? Or you think about it from the perspective of like even negotiating pay, right? Like you want to book a female artist. Are we booking at the same level regardless of repertoire, right? So I just think that there are a lot of things that we consider, even though like when you actually think about it long term, you have more streams of income when you actually think about making a female 100% start. Yeah, 100% because
So much more.
so much more later, because of the same things that make it expensive. The hairline, the makeup line, the clothing line, the beauty, everything. But it's now that like entry that makes it very difficult, and some of the cultural concepts that you have to kind of put into consideration. Like I do a lot of stuff around like women. I have like foundation for me. Try to train young women in production, which is another area where we don't see. But when we talk about women in the industry, it's always about artists. They say like, but what about like providing for more safe spaces for women to record, more safe spaces for women to be represented, it's either songwriting or engineering, right? That's an area that I feel that we don't talk enough about. And even the people that actually do it, it's the female artists that do it, like Simi and Thames. Most people consider them singer-songwriters. Yeah. Never talk about it from the perspective that they are producers, right? So how are we also enabling from that perspective? Because you still hear young women talking about like, oh, I was in the room and the guy made me feel uncomfortable. Or like you wanted us to record at 2 a.m. I was hot. Do you understand? For all like a dupe, like he talked about the team. If you're going to be presenting yourself in that situation, who are you going with that makes you feel steady fair? Or that makes you, do you understand? Yeah. But if you have like more females, then maybe you're not thinking about that. And is that affecting the session or the quality of the session? There are all these things that we don't really think about, but actually affect our ability to find, develop, create the right song or you have people coming into the room and they have to be more mass now for them to survive or to create. I don't think that answers your question.
Yeah, I know that. Like, I just was going to add something to that. That there's a popular female artist that said that she doesn't go into the studio without wearing very baggy clothes, right? Very baggy. And I've seen her in the studio. That's what she does. Why? Yeah, because then you see her as one of the guys, and that's the problem. Even when you want to be a producer as a female. Producers are up late, they're out in the street late, they're hanging out with the boys, they're smoking here and there, there's like, whatever it is, right? And you think about how girls are raised as well. You don't probably have that freedom. Because a lot of producers are self-taught. But you have to be that, you have to be among, you have to be there, you have to learn, you have to spend the all-nighters. And a lot of girls can't afford that because they're not safe. And then they're not allowed to. So, yeah, and then when they're there, they always see us as the babe.
Yeah, exactly.
Even in workspaces, at my big age and my position, there are places where I go into and I'm the babe in the room. Even if you're the one making things happen. So just imagine, like, it's hard. I think it's the entire ecosystem that is not allowing female artists to thrive. And the ones that are so lucky to sound the part, look the part, have the right team, are not many, and have the right resources. Yeah. Right? So when you look at a female artist that is, okay, doing something, but why is it not working? You can start picking out the things, right? Something as small as, who was in that room that shot this thing from beginning to end, not fix her hair?
Yes, yes.
No, but you just
the broken nail.
That's just did not notice the right. Yeah. And if you're a female artist, you knew you had 3 nails missing, and you showed up there and you did this thing, then you don't want it. Yeah. And that's my own. Like, all of us here are here because of a reason, right? It's the same thing applies to the music industry. You can't cut corners. You have to work 10 times harder. You have to just literally, you have, like, if you don't have the work ethic, you're not disciplined, you're not putting in, it's not going to work. And it's worse for you when you're female.
Yep.
So,
wow. Very insightful. Thanks.